welcome everybody. This is Lorette, and this is the Learning Tube. Thank you for joining us today. We have a special guest with us, and her name is Sharon Easterling. Welcome, Sharon. Say hi. You there? You there?
Hello, everyone. How are you today?
There she is. Now, Sharon is one of our fellow certified AI consultants, and she is going to share with you some information on Gamma. Now, I know a lot of you have probably seen Gamma. Do you guys know what Gamma is? Give me a yes if you know Gamma. Yes, a lot of people know Gamma. Yes, 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 they do. And we talked about that. We said a lot of people already know Gamma. We don't want to show it again because everybody knows it. But Sharon is going to give a little twist. She's going to show you some of the stuff that you may not know that Gamma can do. You know, some things that may be overlooked and how you can incorporate other tools when you're using Gamma. Like how can you use ChatGPT in combination with Gamma to really get you what you want. So she's going to take Gamma to the next level, show you some little things that you may not know about. So I want to welcome Sharon to the stage, and let's take Gamma to the next level. Thank you, Sharon. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All
Thank you,
right.
Lorette.
Oh, and those of you, sorry, I just jumped in thinking that everybody knew what Gamma is, but Gamma is a tool that helps you create presentations, and it's all backed by AI. So Sharon's going to show you what all that means and how it all works. All right, so have fun, and take it away, Sharon.
Absolutely. Oh, you guys, so glad to be here today, joining you to talk about Gamma. And, it's like what Lorette said, everyone was kind of, I've heard Gamma so many times. What else can I know about Gamma? It already does everything that I need it to do. So I wanted to talk to you today about Gamma in itself and how you can use ChatGPT with it, and also how you can use Adobe PDF as well. So I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to get into it. So as you can see here on this screen, I have Perplexity. So put in the chat if you use Perplexity AI, say yes. If you don't know what it is, Perplexity is another model, and Perplexity is very educated when it comes to AI because it gets feeds directly from the internet. So if I want to know something, like for instance, yesterday we were in the consultants group on Facebook, and someone showed a platform in there, and oh gosh, it was a neat platform. It had all these great icons laid out, and it was basically a chat GPT, not a chat GPT, but a GPT platform. So I wanted to know what they built their platform on, right? So I went to Perplexity and said, Perplexity, and I gave the website. What is this platform that this website is built on? And Perplexity told me, and it gave me all the information that I needed. So don't think Perplexity is just, one thing. Is great for research, but gosh, it does so much more. And sometimes I use that as like a search engine instead of using Google or whatever, because guess what? It gives you great resources as well. So what I put into Perplexity yesterday, I thought about gamma functionality, right? And how people interpret that. And I also thought about concerns as to sharing with Gamma. So I just went to Perplexity and I asked it, does Gamma learn? What does it do for the learner? How does it use that information? So it gave me some feedback on Gamma functionality. Now remember, ChatGPT learns, right? So it takes what it gets and it continues to learn and continues to be able to provide you information based on that learning. Well, Gamma, of course, doesn't do that. It's a standalone tool that's used for content creation, presentations, documents, websites, and it's pretty darn awesome, right? But then also you have to consider things with your privacy, and I know when we have Alicia on here, she's always talking about that. Remember what you put in Gamma because it's continuously learning and training on that information. So just be aware of that. And I just wanted to hit that for a second. So now we are going to go over to ChatGPT. Now, what I'm using here is a GPT I created called the AI Niche Explorer. But you could, just use your basic GPT to do this. Something that also we need to keep in mind with GPTs, right, is that, or just Chat GPT in general, that you can make sure you can personalize it for whatever you do. So if I want to use this particular prompt and response for messaging, I could just keep going back to that prompt, keep feeding it, keep teaching it, and ongoingly use that prompt, right? Of course, we can customize ChatGPT where it always knows us, right? And always knows what we want. But as you continue to do things, remember to name them something you can remember. Remember, you can go back to them and use those things repeatedly as you do things, and it will continue to learn about you and help you, especially if you're starting a business or doing a business. It can remember that content. But what we're going to do now is something interesting. So we're going to imagine, right, that I want to create some marketing material around GPT training. So I got this prompt here. I didn't type it out, I just pasted it in. So I'm saying I'm offering GPT training for small business owners. This is on-site and virtual, and we want to create marketing material that I can share in a PDF for social media. So I'm just going to take out this PDF part because I decided I don't want that. So we're going to say that I can share for social media. So it's going to then create a response for me. And ChatGPT, don't we love it, right? When we get these responses, it's so exciting. So here we are getting our
Sharon,
uh-huh.
to jump in, is there a way you can zoom or make your screen a little larger?
Oh, let's see. I can
Oh,
hear.
then there you go. Yep,
A
great.
touch screen. It's so awesome.
Perfect.
Okay, so there you can see the response. It named it Unlock the Power of AI for Your Small Business. Are you a small business owner looking to streamline operations? And then it's telling them everything I do as far as GPT training. I offer on site, I offer virtual. It talks about learning how to harness the tools. It talks about why choose training. And then also there's some information here as far as how to get in touch with me. So there's the first step in getting a model that I'm then going to take over to Gamma, and we'll see what that looks like. But now we're going to go a step further. And our next step that we're going to take is we are going to, I'm getting my information here. Be patient with me. Okay, so now we have that content. We now want to bear with me one second. Okay, so now we're going to create an imaginary persona for this content. So what's a persona, you might ask? Sharon, what are you talking about? Well, I want to be able to show people what a potential GPT, and that is just a trained model that we can use for chatting, basically, is what a GPT is. And we're going to show them how they can have their own persona that they can use in their business. So we're going to give them a sample persona, and we're going to use that for our marketing as well. So now we're going to tell ChatGPT, create an imaginary persona and bio and create a one-page marketing document for it. So here we are. It created a GPT example, and it gave a bio for what this GPT would be for their business. So if they implemented this in their business, this is what that GPT could do for them. They could have AI integration in their business. They could have GPT powered solutions, on-site and virtual training, and small business focus. Now, that on-site would be like your employees using that GPT, or it could be someone using that GPT remotely from at home. Then it talks about what's the mission of this GPT. What is this GPT going to do with you, for you? It's going to give you power and simplified tools, and it's going to create massive results. So, and then what would you learn in using this GPT? Well, it's going to help you handle your repetitive tasks. It's going to help you with your marketing, boost customer satisfaction, all these things. So now I also have a marketing document that's going to show them a sample persona or GPT that I would be able to build for them if I had their business. So now we're going to go a step further, and we're going to say, okay, I have a business laid out. I have a persona. So now I need a bio. I need something about me. So what I did was I didn't want to use myself, right? So I asked ChatGPT to create me a sample bio. So I said, okay, create me a sample bio for a business owner for this particular GPT. Because remember, all of this is about the same thing, this whole line of conversation. I started out with create a GPT training for business owners. It created a material for that, so I can offer that training solution. Then I said, okay, I got my training solution. Now create me a persona so I can also market that and use that with that training solution. It did that. It created me a persona. And then I went a step further and I said, okay, now create a bio, a sample bio for a business owner for this GPT. And now I'm going to say named, and I'm just going to use my name. We'll just say Sharon E. My name's so long, you guys, Sharon Easterling. I get so tired of typing it. So I just say Sharon E. And then I'm going to hit the go button. And we're going to see what it gives us. So there's some great stuff. It says Sharon is a forward-thinking entrepreneur, talks about my passion, talks about how I train on GPT solutions. It talks about what my expertise is related to GPTs, gives me a mission. It talks about why choose me, all these great things. So here I have some wonderful information, a wonderful document. And I think, don't you guys do this all the time? Put yes in the chat. If you do this, you go to ChatGPT and you get all this good stuff out of it. And then you're like, okay, what do I do with it? I don't have time. Maybe I don't have anybody to help you. Guess what? That is where Gamma comes in. Okay, so remember the first time you saw Gamma? I'm gonna pull my Gamma over. Sorry, you guys. Let me grab it. So remember the first time you used Gamma? And one thing about Gamma is when you see it the first time, you are so excited, right? You're not really thinking about what else Gamma can do. You're thinking about feeding your information in there and Gamma just giving you a product back. So that's how I was, put in the chat, kid in the candy store. Well, that's a long one, but definitely that's what I was. I was a kid in the candy store. So when I first met Gamma, I was like, oh my gosh, I just throwing stuff in there. So now we're going to take that great information, right, that we got from ChatGPT, and we're going to put that in Gamma. Now, one thing about Gamma is that you can paste in text, and that's what we're going to be doing. You can generate text from that one-line prompt. Now, of course, you can do some of the amazing 8.5 by 11 document stuff that I'm going to talk to you about and generate. Just takes a little bit more practice. It's easier kind of to create that somewhere else and just bring it over to Gamma. But you don't have to. You can do that otherwise. And of course, you can import documents. I love import documents. Someone mentioned something out there. Someone says they write blog posts. I remember, I think I heard. So if you have some great blog posts, bring them over here, import them, and make your great marketing document, right? So we're going to go here and we're going to paste text. So then we're going to go back over here to Chat GPT and pull over that information that we just did. So let's see what we're going to pull over. We're going to start with our basic information on training. So we're going to start here with this unlock the power of small business, blah, blah, blah. And we're just going to copy that over. So I'm going to hit copy, and then I'm going to go back over here to Gamma. And I'm just going to paste that in here. Okay, now remember, the key to what we're talking about right now is a marketing document. Well, yeah, you could add this to your marketing page, and there's a lot of flexibility to do this because we can use a wide view or small view, but we're going to focus on document creating in the form of an 8.5 by 11 document. So then we're going to hit continue. And this is where we start seeing all that great work happen. So typically, lots of us do this lots of times, especially when we first do Gamma, right? We're just generating. So we're just letting it do all the work. But we want to preserve some of this content here. And maybe this time, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, there's not really a lot here. Maybe I want it to be a little bit more creative. So we're going to allow it to generate. And we're going to say that we want it to be brief. And we want this to be for small business owners and entrepreneurs. We want it to be enthusiastic, persuasive, and informative. But this here, the format. Now, when I first looked at format, I didn't mess with it a lot. I just kind of let it do, let it do what it do, right? That's kind of what I did. So for this, I'm going to choose a letter format. This is good for printing. Well, one thing you have to remember to do when you choose a letter format, you have to put it in portrait style, because we're talking about documents here, right? Something that's going to print nicely or look nicely when it comes up on someone's page. So we're going to do that. We're going to leave it in standard. And then you can add any additional instructions that you want. I could have went up here and added more about me, how to contact me, all that stuff. But for the sake of time, we're just going to go and freeform it instead of card by card. That's something else we need to talk about. Freeform versus card by card. Now, card by card is those pretty little sections that you see. Now, of course, you could still put that in an 8.5 by 11 document, right? Card by card. I like to freeform it because then it gives me some other flexibility when I want it to visualize it a different way or when I want it to make it longer. So I do freeform. So that's all we're going to do here, freeform. And then down here, see down here at the bottom where it talks about the card size? Well, guess what? We are talking about a 8.5 by 11 document. And to me, that is one card, not multiple cards. That is one card. So remember to choose one. So then we're going to just hit continue. Okay, so when we hit continue here, this is where we can choose our templates and do all of our little customization stuff. I'm going to show you more about that in a second. But for now, we're just going to choose a basic template. So I kind of like to think about what I'm offering. What am I doing when I'm doing these things? Is it professional? Do I want it to be, something playful, whatever? I'm just going to go with this. I think this looks kind of AI. AI, right? I created a word. That's crazy. Okay, so then I'm going to hit generate. And we're going to see what it comes up with, what that looks like. And it's taking a minute to generate that. Okay, here we go. So here we go. It is giving us one document. Okay, so as we can see here, I don't have a lot of information here. I might not even like the way this is laid out. So I want to make some changes to this document so it can be more user-friendly for me. And my icons aren't showing up on this page, which is interesting. Don't you love it? Why are my icons frozen? Typically, when you click a section, you would be able to generate more and add more information. So what we're going to do here, just to keep the train going, is that we're going to use this template right here. So these are what I was saying wasn't showing up. Saw that a second ago? I didn't have any of these things. Why I didn't have those, I have no idea. So here's an example of what that content could look like, what it could be laid out like, to use for your marketing. So I'm going to make some edits here. So I'm going to tell it to make this shorter. Now, the new AI for Gamma, let's see, I started using Gamma around the beginning of 2023, I think, because ChatGPT came out December 22. So yeah, around the beginning of 2023, we didn't have all this great, stuff. Every day they're making enhancements to Gamma. So I'm going to tell it, just for the sake of what we're doing here, just to make this a little shorter. So what it's going to do is it's going to take this information and shorten it down. It's condensing it. So then I want to look at a different layout. I don't necessarily like this layout. It doesn't look that great to me. So I'm going to try a different layout and see if I like this layout a little better. Well, that looks a little more concise. For this, I could actually tell it to add more content and have more of a length on that page. But for now, we're going to go with that size. The accent images. Now, all of you know you can change where your accent images are. I'm just going to put mine behind the screen just so you can see the difference in what happens when you do that. And then here, I'm going to go to back up here. I got my layout going. So now I know for sure that I want to make this longer. So I'm just going to make this a little longer. Since this format is more conducive to a marketing page, has all my bullets right here of what I offer, very clear and very concise. I'm going to go again, actually, and make this a little bit more, add some more detail here. So I'm doing that. And now I think I have good content here. Okay, so now we're going to go over the themes, right? Because I talked to a second about, I said, we're just going to choose this theme for now, but we're going to talk a little bit more about themes. So then when you go over here, you're going to pick new theme. Most of the time, we're just using what we're given, right? What Gamma gives us, we have that full view of potential themes we can have, and we don't play around with this very much. But we can actually build a theme. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to look at this theme, and we can build it out. We can add, pick the layout color as far as a template for that. So we're going to stick with something along those lines and pick this particular theme. And there it shows us what that theme would look like. Okay, and then we're going to go over here and we can change those fonts. So let's just say we know this is a particular marketing document. We want our fonts to be maybe a little bit more dramatic. Maybe we want them to be robotic looking. So we'll choose Roboto Mono as our particular theme. And then, of course, the design, how we want that page laid out. Of course, it could be standard, and that's going to be with the rounding and the shadows. We can have flat where everything's just kind of even out. So you just kind of pick the theme that goes along with what you're trying to present at that particular time. Now, of course, you can always do some further customization there. So remember, there is some limitations in Gamma, but there are also things that you can do to make this a more personalized document. So you can have a particular brand that you may want to portray. So you can set these things so your brand and your image comes across every time. So here's what your cards could look like, whether they're rounded or not, whether your blocks and contents, whether they have fill. If they do have fill, what does that color look like? What some of the edges are. So thank gosh, Gamma's been thinking about how to make this more functional for all of us. It still has a ways to go, but there is so much functionality in it. How to make your buttons, as much as that. So we're going to go back here to curated. We got our text change. So now we know we're using Roboto. And then we can upload a logo, right? And then every time you're choosing this particular theme, your logo is going to be there, your fonts, your images, everything's going to be the same. So I'll just click here and see if I can just grab some logo that I can use. Let's see. I have so much in here. I'm going to go here and pull up my logo. Okay, so we're going to pull up this one. And we're just going to hit continue. And then we're going to call this our GPT theme. So every time we're doing marketing for our GPTs, we are going to already have this color set. We're going to have this text set. It's going to also appear the way we want it to appear, whether the edges are flat or not. We got our button set. Everything's ready to go. So then we can hit finish. So we got the theme. And as we can see here, everything changed. And we got our logo down here. So we're ready to go from that standpoint. We have our document looking the way we want it to look. Okay, so now we want to click share this document. Now, this is the area I remember when I started playing around with this page. I was like blown away with some of the with how things looked when I played with them. So go down here, see page setup on this screen. So when you click page setup, a window pops up. So this is where you can choose the look of your document. How does it come across? So here we want it to be letter, good for printing. We always want to choose that letter, and we want to make sure the style is portrait. Now, of course, wide content 10, if you choose that, of course, it's going to go outside of those lines. That's good if you're just doing something, visual, you're going to a web page or something and you want people to look at it that way. That totally fits. But if you want people to have a very clean looking document, you probably just want to leave that off. How do you want your content to align? Well, we want it to start at the top of the page, right? Now, if there are things that you want it to be in the middle of the page, you could do that. You can set that here, but I'm using the top of the page. I'm not going to let my cards bleed over. The backdrop of the card, that's optional. That's just your image in the back. You can add that on or have that off. And then, of course, any animations if they're doing a preview. We're not doing that. Okay, so now I have my page all set up how I want it. and I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to hit share again. Now, how do I want to share this? So I'm saying that I want this in a PDF document, right? We could put it in PowerPoint, looks a little different there. We could export it in PNGs, that's okay, but we want a PDF document, and I've told it that I want this to be in an 8.5 by 11 look. Now, the reason I talk about this is because we know Gamma, it can get very happy with a page, right? And your pages can go on and on and on, and then you have to work to separate them, or you just want a really nice, concise looking page. So that's why it's important to tell Gamma what you want. So here we are. This is our document that Gamma created for us. And then we are going to save this document. And I'm just going to save it in a real quick spot. I'm going to put it in downloads here so I can grab it really quick. Okay, so it's already there. So I'm going to go here to my downloads, and I'm going to pull up this document in Adobe. Yeah, this is the one. Nope, that's not the one that I want. Let me go back. Okay, so I'm going to pull up this document in Adobe. Here. So here it is. It downloaded my document in a PDF. Now, I talk about using Adobe for a second. Now, if Adobe has PDF editor, so I always use PDF editor. And I use that so I can make changes to this document if I want to make changes. Yeah, Gamma's great. Yeah, I can make some changes in Gamma, but there may be images or other things that I may want to use outside of Gamma. Or I just may want to, maybe I forgot to do my theme and my template, and I didn't get all my information over there. So using PDF editor allows you to add those images. You can, add another header or footer. If I wanted to add another header up here, you can change the text in PDF editor. So I like PDF editor. I know most of us just have PDF viewer, right? Which we can always view that PDF, but PDF editor allows you to do more things with your PDF. Make changes. Let's just say you had a document from last year that you want to update and change. PDF editor allows you to go in and change and update those documents. So there's our first page, right? So now let's go back and let's look at the other prompt that we created. I don't think we'll have time to go through all the prompts, but we will do the one that says, there's one for the GPT specialist that you could add for your marketing. But now we want to look at creating one for yourself, because I know who's in those Facebook groups out there where someone says, drop your business info in the chat. Tell us all about your business. Tell us all about you. And you don't have a great document that tells them all about you. Well, this is a way to create an impressive page to where when you're in those Facebook groups, you can have things about your business that you're dropping in there, or you can have things just about you in there. So we created this based off being a GPT trainer. It doesn't have all the other wonderful things I do in here because I am focused on marketing for my GPT training, right? So that is what I'm going to focus on. So then we are going to go back here to Gamma, and we're going to say create new again, and we're going to paste in text, and then we're going to paste that in here, right? So here we have a great document on Sharon. Now this document's pretty lengthy. I'm going to try to preserve it, but we'll see. So we got document, continue, And this time I'm going to click preserve. Now, that's something that we, sometimes don't do. Generate allows us to have AI magic, right? Where we can just give it something and it will create other information based off what we give it. Condense, now I could do condense with this document to where it's going to make it smaller because I'm going to see what it looks like on one card. Let's see. Let's go down here and make this free form. Okay, so it's looking pretty good, free form. Don't you think so? Yeah. So we're going to preserve that. And then we're going to click here, format. So once again, we're going to choose letter because we want this to be an 8.5 by 11 letter document. We want to choose portrait because that's an 8.5 straight up and down. We're going to use standard cord width. We could give it some other instructions, but I think we're good here. Let's see, I don't have a name of a business in here, so I could say add my business name or whatever, but we're just going to leave it. We're going to tell it that we only want this on one card. All this information on one card. Remember, that is the key for these 8.5 by 11 documents or portraits, that you want to do them on one card. So then we're going to hit continue. So there we are. And guess what? We created a great template a little bit ago, right? For our GPT trainer. So we're just going to use that same template. Why not? So here we go. We're grabbing that template and then we're going to just hit generate. And we're going to see what happens. How that gets that information over to us. Now, I do know lots of times that you want your own image in your, if this is for you, you want a picture of you somewhere in here. So you'd have to add that image. Maybe that's the other instructions you can give it, leave a square for images. But it's kind of neat to have it in the background, right? Don't you think? I mean, they can't see you that well here, but it gives it, I don't know, it's just something neat about it. So here we are, and this is laid out so good. I don't know what is going on with my gamma because I think maybe I have too much memory in use. I got tons of things going on, but my little icons aren't showing up for me to be able to change the look of my page. Someone says it is very slow today. Karen, I'm with you. It's just not giving me all my icons up here. Oh, there it is. Gamma is having trouble syncing your changes right now. Your work was last synced 1 minute ago. So Gamma is having some issues. But as you can see, it's laid this out really nicely. So now I'm going to want to share this. And I'm going to tell it that I want this to be, let me look at my page setup now. Again, I always remember that because it always wants to go to default sometimes. But we told it earlier, letter, but we got that letter. Everything's laid out nice. We're good to go there. It says Gamma can't sync my changes, but we're going to.
Hey, Sharon. I'm so sorry for jumping in, but you see to the bottom left-hand corner of your Gamma, it has an error there that says it needs to reload, so you have to click reload.
Thank you. I did not see that over there. That is where you just talking and presenting and not being. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay, so I don't think I'm good. Well, I'll reload it just to see if I can change the formats and stuff for y'all so you can see. So let's see what happens when I reload. Because I'm like, where are all my icons? How long has that been there? Did it just show up? There they are. Oh my gosh. Okay. So here's all my great icons. So I think this, like, don't you guys like, oh, that one looks good. This layout looks pretty good. But, you can play around with your layout. Use a different layout if you want to. Let's see what it's going to give us this time. Uh-oh, it's still having some slowness. It's not totally together yet. Okay, so it just looks like it gave us a different background. It didn't do a lot with the layout, and I'm not going to stress it any further because evidently I'm stressing out Gamma right now. So I'm just going to check my page setup again real quick. Yep, it's in portrait. All good there. And I'm going to hit share, and I'm just going to export this to PDF. And it is exporting, and I'm going to click and I'm going to take a look. And there we have all about sharing in one neat document. Now, once again, as I said, if you have Adobe PDF or some of those things, you could go and move some of these things over. You could add an image. You could even do it in Gamma. It's a little harder to do in Gamma, but you can totally do that, add a great picture yourself. But you might just want to have a nice little document here that you're dropping in your Facebook or dropping, in someone's DM somewhere. Say, here, this is all about me. So those things are just neat things that I wanted you to see about Gamma that offers you flexibility in being able to show things differently. Because sometimes, especially when you're using cards, your document can go on and on and on. Also remember, when you're wanting to use cards in Gamma, when you're in ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT, I want to use 5 cards, or I want to use 6 cards for Gamma. Tell ChatGPT that. It will create it in those 6 cards for Gamma. And then when you come over Gamma, you can just paste those in. So ChatGPT does understand that, look, there is a Gamma out there and it needs stuff differently. Remember that when you're working with ChatGPT. As some of this new technology comes out, it kind of gets that information, right, when it has its download, and it knows more about how to present that information. To tell it what you're needing that information for. So I hope this was enjoyable and helpful in some way. Are there any questions that you might have? Let's see. I'm going to look in the chat.
So Anne-Marie wanted to know how you added the image in the background.
Okay, so it just automatically added the image in the background. But here's how you can do that. Okay, so here, when you see the little art card styling here, this is the way your image looks. So whether you have no particular layout, your image is on the top, or your image is on the side, your image is on the right, or your image is in the background. So that's how you get your image in the background. Then let's just say, okay, I don't like that image. You remember a second ago I said, oh, it changed the image. Well, these are the images down here that it changed. So I can put this lady back right here, and she'll go back. Oh gosh, but you guys, I love that. There's so many different models in Gamma that you can use now. They have Dolly in here. They have Stable Fusion. So that's the way you change your image. Now, let's just say I want to upload an image. You could do that. So if you had your picture and you wanted to put your picture in the background, you could upload that. Now, of course, you'd have to change. There's like a masking that goes over it where the words are and all those things. You'd have to maybe change that to clear. But then I can't see the words that good, right? But I can see you really good. So if I change the text, maybe played around with it a little bit, that could change how that background looks. Now, of course, and then you can always use AI and change the background. Does that make sense? The faded and not faded, you can change the way, it looks right here in front of you. Like I said, clear or faded a little bit, or the frosted image. You can change that color as well. So if you just want it to be gray, can't see anything with that. You can change that to blue, can't see anything with that. So you have to be, coherent about what your images look like. and how that comes across. Any other questions? Let's see, I'll look in the chat.
No more questions right now, but Nilda was saying it can also be used to create a brochure.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, it can. And that would be helpful with the cards. So if you're doing that, tell ChatGPT, if you're using that, what you're doing, and it can help make sure your cards, I'm sure brochure, 3 cards, right? What do you want on those 3 cards? Or you'd have a front and a back to the card that you'd have to add as well. But for the middle part, you could do 3 cards and have a brochure. Thank you, Nilda. Love that. I hadn't tried that yet, though, but I might try it. Well, thank you, guys. This has been great today with you on the learning team.
One more thing.
Okay. I'm going to Yes. Yes, Andrea. It's been great with you guys today on the Lunar Tube. And I want to remind you, we are having a AI Healthcare Summit. And it is going to be fantastic. And if you have interest and you would like to be a speaker, Dadrian is going to drop the information in the chat for you to sign up to be a speaker for that event. If you have interest, if you're, in healthcare, you have some great tools related to that. It'd be a GPT, maybe you're training operations for healthcare, and you want to share that information with us. We would love to hear that. That is going to be October, I want to think off the top of my head, 17th.
October 17th and 18th.
Absolutely. October 17th and 18th. Hope you're available, and we'll be looking out to join us and sign up as a speaker. We need you to participate. So thank you, guys. Really enjoyed it.
Hey, Sharon, before you run away and leave us after this amazing presentation, I don't know if you could take a quick 30 seconds. One of the persons on the Zoom is asking if this can generate presentations or lesson plans for a teacher as well.
Oh my gosh, yes, it can create presentations. That is a part of, so when you first start out with Gamma, so let's just go back here for a second, and we're going to say create new. So once you say create new, you're going to tell it. So let's just say in ChatGPT, let me go back to ChatGPT for a second. I think we do have time. And I'm going to say create one lesson. Create a 1 module lesson on GPTs. So one thing I love about the Niche Explorer, so this is a GPT I created. Anybody, out there can create one, but it just can pull so much information. Of course, ChatGPT does this anyway, but I just plug that in here. So we're going to just say, here's our lesson. I'm just going to grab a little bit of this. I'm going to grab module 1 and the concepts, and I'll grab section 1 here. And then I'm going to go back over to Gamma, and I'm just going to paste this in there. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. Presentation. Of course, we know it creates some amazing websites and documents we went over. So we're going to say we want it to do a presentation. And that's where you go through the same information. Remember, generate is flexibility. So we give it content, and then the AI in Gamma says, you know what? I'm going to make this into something else amazing for you. So it recreates what we created. Condense it, making it smaller, preserve. I'm thinking if you're creating a lesson plan here, you've probably massaged it, got it the way you want it to preserve it. So you click preserve. And then of course, we've already created presentation format. The card height, See right here, the different sizes. We want this in 16:9 for PowerPoint or Google Slides. So remember to tell it how you want it. We don't want this in portrait. We don't want this in straight up and down, 8.5 by 11. We want this to be landscape to meet the 16.9. It should automatically do that. We want it standard size. And then the card. So here is something. This is kind of what Nilda was talking about with the brochure. See here how it's laid everything out in a card. So these are your 6 cards that are going to be kind of like your 6 slides. So you could change that if you wanted to, add more cards, make it look different, however you choose to proceed. And then you hit continue. And then of course you choose the template. I'll just grab a template here. You'll notice I like a lot with purple. Purple is like my favorite color. So lots of my stuff has purple in it. So here we go. Here we are creating our module, and envision these are like slides, right? So these are going to go over to our PowerPoint. We can edit it, we can change it, we can do whatever we want with it. Now, as far as the images here and the layout, we can change that as well. So like here, if we wanted to change this image to something else, we could change that. Let's see. Let me get my image changed. Is that it right there? Oh yeah, there it is. Edit. And we could change where it is. So instead of on the side, we could put it on the top. We could put it on the left. However we want to change that. And then we click edit. And here's some other images that are throughout the document already. Remember that the images down here are already showing in your Gamma document. So we want to maybe recreate some images. So we are just going to say enhance the oh, I didn't make any changes. Sorry. We're just going to do generate, and it's going to regenerate us another image, because let's just say we didn't like that image. So it's going to regenerate us another one. And let's see how long that's going to take. And there we go. Now we have a new image. So we'll just say, and then you can have some other examples down here that you can click. So we'll just say, oh, we like that image. So now we want this. We can present this straight out of Gamma, you guys. So if you're, you've created this for your students or for your customers or whoever, you can present this straight out of Gamma. You don't have to download it. But we're going to say, look, we're going to export this because we want to use this in a PowerPoint. And we're going to tell it to export it to PowerPoint. You notice I didn't go to page setup and any of that stuff this time, because it should come out in great PowerPoint format. So here we go. And we're going to see what that looks like. Bam, there we go. There's the PowerPoint. Let's see what we got. Oh, bam, there we go. We got our PowerPoint. So look, we created a quick lesson in ChatGPT, and then we came over here and created our PowerPoint. Bam, look, perfect. There you go. Problem solved. Thank you guys. That was great.
One last thing, Sharon, can you share your socials so persons can connect with you?
Oh, sure. So my LinkedIn is, if you go Sharon Easterling, just search me. I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm Sharon Brock Easterling on Facebook. You can follow me there as well. You want me to put them in the chat? I can do that real quick. And remember, we talked about Perplexity a little bit, but I just love all the quick information that you can get in Perplexity. Things that, you see something great out there and you want to know, how can I do this? How can I use this? And it can tell you in Perplexity. And I just love that. Maybe Claude does the same thing. I know some of you really like Claude. I've been working more and more with Claude. So I do like Claude, but I'm not sure of all Claude's capabilities as far as that. But it should have up-to-date information, so I think it would be pretty much the same. So there's my LinkedIn. I just posted in the chat. And I will put my Facebook in the chat. This has been great, you guys. As you can tell, I enjoy talking about AI. It's the teacher in me, I guess. I used to be an instructor of a community college. I started a program at a college, so I think the teaching is still in me. Okay. Let me get my profile here. Okay, and I'm going to put it in the chat. That took me forever, didn't it? I'm sorry. Okay, I think we are ready to go, and I'm going to stop my share. Thank you, guys. This has been really wonderful to join you today on the Learning Tube. And I hope I come back. I'd love to talk about some Notion basics, right? Because once you have a great template for Notion, you can just use it over and over and over. Change it, make it beautiful, make some short changes on it, and be able to use it in the groups you're in, to share content and collaborate. So thank you, you guys. It's been great. And Dadrian, I'm guessing I end the session.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much for Sharon. Everyone appreciates it. I hope you got a second to check all those comments. Person absolutely loved it. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. So enjoyed it. I will take a look. Bye-bye.
Thank you everyone for joining. See you on the next session of the Learning Tube. Bye.